Cypress Fairbanks Independent School District presents PBIS 201 Strengthening Classroom Management with Proactive Strategies, Part 2 of 2. Today's topics will include preventive prompting, social skills, restorative strategies, and communication. We'll begin with preventive prompting. How many of you have been to a movie theater before? Do you remember if there was a prompt to turn off or silence your cell phone? How about to refrain from texting or talking during the movie? All of these were preventive prompts. Preventive prompts are just quick, proactive reminders of the expected behavior for whatever activity you're about to participate in. For students, receiving the preventative prompt right before you want them to demonstrate a skill can be very effective. Doing this sets up the student for success. Some students need higher levels of support, and preventive prompts can be used throughout the day to prevent problem behavior. A quick reminder helps all students be successful and build feelings of satisfaction. They know what to do and when. They know the boundaries and live within them. They feel safe. Let's talk about what preventive prompting sounds like in the classroom. This first example, who can remind me of my expectation as we walk to large group, is an example of you requesting the students to provide the preventive prompt. This allows for you as the teacher to check for understanding and take a break from always having to talk. Our next sentence starter is an example of how quickly you can prompt your students. Before we move to our work groups, remember the expectation of focus until done. As I ask the class review questions, be sure to raise your hand and wait to be called on. We are joining another class, so let's be sure to show our tiger pride by being respectful to their area. As you can see, preventive prompting is just a reminder to students of your expectation right before you send them off. The goal is to cut down on having to redirect their off-task behaviors because you just reminded them of what to do. Let's begin to put this together. We want to start with play and teaching to introduce the skills to our students. Remember, we learned the 4 parts of play and teaching in PBIS 101 Part 2, where you introduce the skill, describe the appropriate behavior, give a reason, and then practice. Then set your students up for success by using preventive prompts to remind them of your expectations right before the skill or procedure should be used. I would now like to talk about a topic that's very important to the development of our students: social skills. The Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, or CASEL, has shown that students who receive social skills instruction have more positive attitudes about school and improved on an average of 11 percentile points on standardized achievement tests compared to students in control groups without such instruction. These are just a few of the reasons you should be teaching social skills in your classroom. Here are the basic 16 social skills that are the foundation of a well-managed classroom and school. They serve as the foundation for a healthy learning environment. They're not just school skills, they're life skills. Teaching social skills allows for generalization and code switching, empowering students to apply them to different situations in their lives. We have and would like you to use the individual 8x10 social skills posters when you teach social skills to your students. We also have the small size should you need to place one on a student's desk or in a folder for easy access. So, where can you find these social skills posters? Student Services houses social skills on the CFISD intranet. Let me walk you through how to get to them. First, access the Student Staff portal and sign in, example 1. Then, you'll click on the intranet icon, example 2. You might want to tag this icon as a favorite so that you will have easy access to it later. You will be required to log in to the intranet. Example 3. You'll now be at the home screen for the intranet. You'll want to click on Departments in the upper left-hand corner. Example 4. You'll then click on Student Services. Example 5. Once you're in Student Services, Example 6, you'll notice several resources to help you with classroom management. Click on Behavior Management. You'll then click on the Social Skills Poster tab, Example 7, where you'll find several different social skills formats for you to choose from. When students become proficient at social skills, you'll see a difference in their conduct. Their academic achievement increases. Because they now have a foundational understanding of expectations, their attitudes about themselves and others improve. Students with a solid understanding of social skills are more prepared for success in the future. And students will have better social interactions with coworkers and their community. Knowing all of these benefits for a student, I hope you will invest in their future. Now let's talk about how we can strengthen your classroom management with restorative strategies. History and research have proven that punishment has not been successful in changing a student's behavior. History and research has shown that restorative strategies has been successful in changing student behavior. So we as teachers need to learn how to be restorative, not punitive. That's easier said than done because it requires a mindset change, and sometimes changing a mindset can be a challenge. A restorative approach is about building relationships and acknowledging that relationships are central to building community. A restorative approach addresses behavior and harm in a way that strengthens relationship and teaches for next time. A restorative approach addresses harm differently. It focuses on the harm done rather than what rule was broken. A restorative approach encourages responsibility by encouraging collaborative problem solving with affected parties. But what does restorative look like in the classroom? We will discuss a few strategies that you can put into practice. The first strategy is called temperature check or threshold. You're probably already doing this because you're at your door greeting students each period of the day. This simple act is one of the most important things that you can do to build relationships with your student. You're giving each student positive attention, and over time, you can assess their mood. Another restorative strategy is conducting class meetings. Most elementary schools have a set time to conduct class meetings and vary the type of topics discussed, while secondary campuses find it difficult to have time to conduct class meetings. I would say, however, if you have 5 minutes, you can conduct a class meeting. You may not have the opportunity for every student to participate that class period, but you can pick back up and do a few more students each day. The goal is for student connection, which improves classroom culture. Another strategy to utilize is think sheets when an incident occurs. Students complete the think sheet and teachers read it. There is then a discussion regarding alternate ways to handle situations. Both the student and the teacher need to be in a neutral state before they convene for the discussion. Be sure to save the think sheet as it could prove to be beneficial should additional challenges arise. Cool down areas provide the student a safe place to regroup and explore how to self regulate their emotions. Every student in the room should have the opportunity to access the cool down area. Your cool down area will become a problem if you do not explicitly teach how to access the area, how to appropriately use all items located in the area, and how long they may stay in the area. Movement is a great strategy to reduce classroom disruptions. Remember, a student's ability to focus is equal to their age, meaning a 13-year-old should be able to focus for about 13 minutes before they need a state change. Adding movement while you teach academic content will anchor information for more effective recall. The last topic we will discuss is communication. The main objective of communication is to inform and persuade. We usually have communication with another person to gain information or knowledge about something. We also have communication to persuade others. Understanding these concepts, let's talk about communication skills for teachers. For teachers, communication is considered a soft skill. Teachers need to be excellent communicators and know how to speak to a variety of different people in order to do their job effectively. They need to be able to communicate with students as well as with parents. The nuance is that educators need to know how to talk with people, not talk at them. According to this article, teachers must observe, notice nonverbal cues from students, listen, allow students to share their thoughts, and use clear language. Speak so that your students can understand and relate. Communications between teachers and parents is paramount to a student's success. Begin the year with a warm and cordial communication. You don't want your first communication to be when their student has a problem. Teachers should strive to build trust with their students' parents. One way to do this is by listening to parents. Teachers should be prepared to listen to parental concerns, especially in situations where a parent may be trying to help you understand a child's unique challenges. Acknowledge the parent's contribution to their child's education and be sure to elicit feedback from the parents. At the most basic level, a teacher's job is to educate students and convey information about a particular subject. It's not just regurgitating textbook knowledge, but rather finding ways to make lessons engaging and to get students involved. Beyond instructing students on course materials, teachers also need to develop lines of communication by fostering a sense of trust. It's hard to build trusting relationships when your nonverbal communications are saying more than your audible communications. Be aware of your body language, your voice tone, and your facial expressions. In summary, remember that preventive prompts is your way of helping your students be successful. You do this by giving them quick reminders of your expected behaviors right before you expect them to execute the task. Remember the sentence starters we discussed? Write some of those down and keep them beside your desk as a reminder. Be sure to go to CFISD's intranet and download your copy of Social Skills. We discussed that teaching social skills improves student conduct, academic performance, their attitude toward themselves and others, and over the long term, prepares students for the future by improving their social interactions and communication skills. We discussed that implementing restorative strategies may require a mindset change. Research confirms that restorative strategies builds relationships and community, focuses on repairing harm, encourages responsibility, and is respectful to all involved. The specific strategies we reviewed included temperature checks, class meetings, think sheets, cool down areas, and brain breaks. The last topic that we discussed was communication. We reviewed that teachers need to be proficient at observing, listening, and using clear language. When communicating with parents, it's important to convey warmth, trust, and acknowledge participation and be open to feedback. Communicating with students is more than just educating them. It's about fostering trust. Teachers work hard to build relationships with their students and do not want to put their efforts in jeopardy by their nonverbal communications contradicting their verbal communications. Thank you for joining me for PBIS 201 Part 2, Strengthening Classroom Management with Proactive Strategies. Please join us for PBIS 301, Advanced Techniques for Sustaining PBIS on your campus.